We just saw the idea of people sharing their income to help reduce inequality. Is that really workable? Is it a practical solution?
Well, I think the idea of many people contributing a relatively small amount of money is how charity has worked since the beginning of time. So to digitize that in an app, bring it all into one place, and then to sell the concept and the idea and sell the research and the rationale behind what you're doing certainly makes sense. I think it is a shame, perhaps, that governments are not taking on the responsibility to look after their own citizens. This came up earlier in the conversation. The fact that the private sector has to step up to do this is slightly worrying, and I think that if the private sector starts to own efforts to reduce poverty, then we end up in a very different place where companies can choose to turn things on and off based on a business model or based on a plan. But the idea that anybody anywhere now can use the reach of social media to pull communities together, to pull together people with like-minded concerns and interests. The fact that people can now use mobile apps and internet sites to run these kinds of programs, who previously would never have really been able to do this at the scale that we can now do it, is opening up incredible opportunities, not just for people in the US to solve US problems, but if you think about, for example, the African continent, there are several hundred now innovation hubs across the African continent, full of very able local programmers, very able local business people who better understand the issues that the people in those countries are facing. And they now have the tools at their disposal to start to build their own local solutions to those local problems. And that's the bit that really excites me the most.
Chu Chiang, President Xi Jinping of China has set 2020 as the goal to eradicate poverty, and so far the program has been working very well. But I'm wondering, to what extent has the success of this program depended on people, ordinary people in villages and towns throughout China, complying with what the government wanted, with being part of this, of cooperating, working together to get this program done?
Well, yes. Actually, we find out through like 40 more years of the poverty alleviation job, we find out many things of this campaign. Well, I myself honorably and humbly used to be part of this campaign in helping poor people traveling around all these poor areas. And we do find out something we need to work on is that eventually, no matter what you just mentioned about microloans, or you mentioned about the donations, you mentioned about the UBIs, and everything has been tried out in China. Like for 40 years. And in President Xi Jinping's period of time, we find out the secret should be the targeted poverty alleviation. And the secret behind this secret is actually help the people who can help themselves. No matter you give them money or give them resources or give them whatever you can give them, eventually the one who can help themselves is the one who are inspired and the one who with the capability. So you really need to find out the one who dare to help themselves, the one who are willing to change their life. You know, we have a saying here in China, the poor people, they don't need a handout, they need a hands up. A lot of people are saying that China is going to eradicate the poverty right now. Well, that's probably some misunderstanding. We're just going to eradicate extreme poverty in China. But the natural poverty or comparative poverty still we're going to stay with us for a very long time. So that's the future direction we're going to move towards.